Hey, how are y'all?
Hi.
Sorry.
Hey,
Good.
everybody.
My
I
emotional
love
support pup.
Shannon. I love that. I really do. Hey, everybody. Let's see, who do we have here? Wow. Um,
We
Mandy,
have
thank
already
you.
16 people.
Wow, good job sharing with
Thank you,
Shannon. Thank you,
everyone, for being here.
Ben. Yes. Let's see, we have Aria. Thank you, mods, definitely. And we have Tomas. I'm so glad to see you back here and surviving together. Audrey. Let's see who else we got here. Um, Powerless, hello, how are you? Jen Marie, Teresa, and Barbie, hello. Hey, Paula. And there we go. I'm so glad y'all came.
Thank you for
So
inviting me.
I'm really happy y'all came. This is really important subject.
It is.
So Hamina, I'm gonna let you go for it.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. So we wanted to take this time right now to talk about men's mental health from a women's perspective. And this is not about us knowing everything about what's going on men's mental health, because that's not the case. We are not men, so we don't know what's going on in their heads. I think we want to take an approach on how mental health actually affects our interactions with men and our relationships, and how we can get affected about that, and how we also can influence mental health, and how we can also help overcome some of the challenges that men are facing. So, we are going to talk about our experiences and how we have dealt with these situations. And we are not
Yes.
intending to know everything about mental health. Just wanted to clarify, because I know it's a difficult topic here to address this from the woman's perspective. So, I just wanted
Yeah.
to make that, speak that out.
No, I'm so
Um,
glad you did, Hamina, because actually you make a good point. We don't know what men are thinking, right? We don't. So, but it's good for a man to hear from a woman's perspective also, I believe. I mean, I think that would you would hope so. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm having really bad time, so you're gonna have to carry me through this one. But I just think it was important for like the men to hear from a woman's perspective about men's mental health. We always talk about women's mental health or something going along with women, and it's just over and over, and it's all I mean, it's all true, it's all real, and it's all stuff that we have to deal with. But this is a subject we really don't approach a lot.
yeah, especially because it's like universal, and like in from the what I've seen and read about all of these specific topics, they face unique challenges in terms of the social expectations that they have, communication barriers, a stigma. For example, comments like uh, "boys don't cry" or "you have to be tough," and we also, as women, sometimes continue that stigma and continue that, because it's like, he's crying, he's such a baby, like we
Yeah.
sometimes can say that. So it's part of the things that we actually are part of, or perpetuating. I don't know if that's the word.
And oh yeah,
Some of these things. And
Stereotype.
this is, yeah. So I think that this is why we need to address these topics. And I know there's men here, so feel free, please, to like point things that you should maybe are going through, or maybe if we are addressing something that we are not addressing it correctly, please feel free to let us know, because we're
absolutely.
talking exactly, because I would
This
like to
is
know
about
your
learning.
perspective on things.
Sure. This is about
Um,
learning. So,
and I've seen that, like, especially in my country, like we have a lot of machos, so it is like,
Oh yeah.
from a very young age, they are taught that they need to suppress their emotions, and they need to prioritize their strength. They need to avoid vulnerability. So this, in my opinion, creates a lot of pressure. And I can see that as a mom of a boy, the amount of pressure that this puts, because then when he wants to be vulnerable, then he's looked at like, you are weak, and you need to have more, like, you need to be more tough. So these things are, I think, part of the social expectations and gender norms that are imposed and are affecting mental health
Okay.
for men.
Thank you, Indigo. I appreciate you stepping in today very much. So that way we can have a conversation and Indigo's going to start the questions for us.
Oh, okay. Good, because I was
Yeah. So we basically take orders.
for Max arriving together. She says, for example, you throw like a girl. There are so many derogatory phrases.
I do see you always tired. That's a friend of ours that had to use a different account because hers is messed up. So that would be girl.
I throw like a girl. I do.
Shannon, so what is your take on this? Just a summary or a synopsis is what we're going to do here.
Well, I would like understand some of the unique things that men face. I realize that they have a lot of pressure to be always be, like you said, the tough ones, and real men don't cry, and I think real men do cry. And a true man, and it does. That's a stereotype too. I can't say that either. I kind of feel bad even saying that, but I certainly respect a man that will show his feelings a lot more than just the complete stoic stereotype that everybody tries to perpetuate onto men. It's not fair to men. It's not fair to boys. What we do to little boys. And little boys that want their mommies. I mean, that's why we say no, don't cry, and man up. No.
That's the thing. And because they're told this man up their entire lives, that is their norm. And sometimes I feel like maybe we cross the line a little bit. I'm not saying us in general. I'm saying that we as in general women, that we might cross that line a little bit of wanting them to give us more emotional information than they really have, or that they want to share, because that's they might be perfectly okay. They don't want to go back to that inner child and fix that inner child. It just makes it worse on them. Let them go in present time forward.
And I think that's the thing, that it's like putting or limiting the authentic communication. So you are not able to communicate like with them as openly, and they are not allowed, or they feel that they are not allowed to be vulnerable. So I think we need to start redefining what strength really means, to allow that vulnerability and emotional awareness, and also have the courage to seek help is part of that strength, because I think they are sometimes wanting to fix everything by themselves because they need to be strong. And that's at least my experience with what happened. For example, my father, he has depression, he has been suffering a lot of things, and he's not open communicating everything because he doesn't feel like he has to, because he can't solve everything by himself. And that's the stand. Same with my husband. So that's stereotypical maybe, but it's a pattern that I see generation after generation.
You're right about that.
And I think we are, so I think that's where we can actually start helping. Not that we are going to save anyone, but it's part of, together, men and women should be able to reinforce or redefine these terms. So it's beneficial for them.
So I read something a friend of mine sent me a while ago. She's actually my roommate. She sent this to me a while ago, and she said, "What is that you think I need?" Love. That's the man. The woman says, "Only men need to be loved, sweetheart, and women need to be wanted." That's a big thing. Men need to be loved. Women need to be wanted. What do you think about that statement? Men want. Okay, let me do it again. Men want to be needed. Women need to be wanted. There you go. Men want to be needed. Women need to be wanted. What do you think about that?
And it's part of the role that they have been, like, I think that's part of the gender thing that society puts on them. Like, they need to be providers. They need to be caregivers. They need to, like, this role is normally assigned to them, especially in societies like Mexican one or other societies that are not, that these ideologies are more like ingrained. So
I agree with this.
So I think that's stereotypical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
and it was.
look.
Say that again, Shannon. I'm sorry, I could barely
Oh,
hear you.
that's just more like an a machismo culture, which we
Yeah.
have in this country. We have several cultures, but I certainly see that in the especially the Latin American type cultures, the machismo,
Yes.
where I find that. I mean, again, I hate to just so stereotype everybody, but stereotypes kind of become stereotypes for a reason. And
Yeah.
I work in Miami, where it's big Latin American culture, and you really see a difference in the culture there compared to the rest of the country. But I just
Yeah.
really feel bad, like just saying, well, all Latin
Well, we
people.
don't like that extreme. Yeah.
I don't want to
Everything's
be
not black and white.
extreme. Right, but there is a tendency that I see in that.
Because
the
women in my country, we are taught, or at least in societies like mine, we are taught that we need to know how to cook and take care of the children and all of that. So we've been breaking those stereotypes where we are far behind some other countries. And it's like culturally, men need to provide the food, they need to go out and work, and then women need to stay at home taking care of the kids, and you need to please the husband. And so that's the things that they do, and they cover these by saying that the woman is the one who has the last word, which is not the case, because
Yeah.
normally they do everything. So it's not like everyone. For example, I know a lot of men who are completely like okay with women working and providing and they staying at home. It has been changing, but again, they feel some unease. They don't feel like comfortable if you have a better salary or if you have a better job, and they always compete with you.
Yeah.
So it's
I would say
part
that's
of the
a
mentality.
problem here too. Absolutely,
Yeah.
still a problem here,
And
especially if you make more money or you have a higher status job than they do. I think that still tends to be a problem, at least in the men I meet.
It does, Shannon, you're right, because it typically is true that a woman will get paid more for the same or or better than a man, and it's only because we have everybody all this equality or whatever. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying normally it ends up a woman is getting paid more than a man in the same position if in certain situations. And I've looked that up to actually make sure I was right on that. And there was several.
And I think all these battles only reinforce these struggles, because then they need to still be strong to do things. They don't cry. They need to handle stress better than women, and all of these things that they are supposed to be doing, that society tells them they have to do.
Yeah.
When in real life, when you see what real life is about, and you see, for example, your husband struggling with depression, struggling with addiction, struggling with of these things without being able to actually share what he's going through, and you as the wife or the sister or the friend are seeing what he's going through, then this is where we can actually help by removing these barriers that society is putting, I think. Maybe we could help in a way.
Well,
Not
especially
that I'm.
on a one-on-one basis. I think it's a negotiation in a relationship, and that part of that is overcoming the typical stereotypes, so that between you can negotiate the actual relationship itself.
Yeah. And also, I think they deal with emotions different than we women. They deal and approach things and situations in a very different way that we normally do.
Yeah.
Not that it's not that it's a rule. We can all of us manage feelings and emotions differently, but I think it's the way they are raised as men is the same. Society rules what they need to be, how they need to handle these things. So
Well, and people
Yes.
don't like to. There are physical differences too. Like men are stronger and are better equipped to do certain physical things more than we are. And
Okay, you brought that up, Shannon. I will say this. So my other half, he is a project manager, at his company, and he works in the oil and gas. You know, I mean, he works at the plants, and the job that he does. Well, his employees, you know, they are definitely some of those jobs women don't physically have the strength to do.
Right.
I mean, like what you're saying, they physically don't.
They really don't. Yeah.
But when they do, when they are made to have women out there, and then the women get hurt, it's like, I think sometimes we do need to back up and take a look at that. Because if it's not, I'm not for, oh, men are above women. No, I'm like total opposite. But I'm just saying that in reality, like with his job, he has to hire women, but they just most of the time cannot perform the actual job because of their physical limitations. If that makes sense.
That's a tricky topic.
I know it is. I know it is.
Because I mean, some women can, but for the most part, men are stronger than women. Just that they have
this is facts.
Stronger upper body strength. Just physically, their hormones are made.
Yes.
It just is a fact that.
Well, if you've ever been abused by a man, well, they can overpower you like this.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
their punches are going to pack a bigger punch. That's
right.
That, for sure. I mean, I've never hit a man in my life, but if I did, it certainly wouldn't be an equivalent fight. It would be like, you know, bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Like the one that we're having on tonight that everybody in my house is so excited and waiting on.
and I think that basing the behaviors on physical capabilities, that's where we are basing a lot of the social rules that we have. Like men need to do the hard work. It's getting different now. I think.
Different, yeah.
But it's based or was based on that mostly, at least here. It's like I'm the macho man, I can open the bottle, like that's the thing that they see. So I think that again, how do you say, like reinforces that they have to be strong and they don't cry and they don't do these behaviors,
right?
And they also, since they deal with emotions differently than we do because of what they have learned, because I've met men that are very capable to express emotionally what they feel and how they're feeling. So it's not a general rule that if you're a man, you're not going to be able to communicate. But in general, and like I said, I'm talking about my experience with my society in Mexico. It's very hard for them to express how they feel. And when they do that, they are called names, bad names, because they are weak. And so it's not okay for them to feel like that. So maybe like what I was trying to do with my son, for him to be able to say something, is instead of asking what's wrong and are you angry or something, I'm trying to be less confrontational, and I try to do what's on your mind. I see you're stressed, you're sad, is there anything I can do for you? Do you need to talk? But it's different, and they start to open up a little bit more. And that's what I'm trying to do also with my husband or with other friends. And I think that type of techniques has helped me for them to feel less confrontational or confronted, so they can open up a little bit easier. So I think it's a mental barrier that they have in general for mental health and for asking for help, because they need to solve everything by themselves. It's in my perspective, in my society.
Go ahead. We're having some technical difficulties. Y'all, please continue with the conversation.
So I don't know, Shannon, what do you think about this?
Well, I know a very good friend of mine that was raised in a house where men were just expected to just man up from a very young age, not allowed to ever ask for help, and didn't believe in therapy, getting any kind of help whatsoever. And that is just something that really needs to be changed just right from the beginning. Little boys need to be able to cry. Men need to be able to cry.
I think everyone should be able to express their emotions in a healthy way. And there shouldn't be like these barriers that if you're a woman, you need to cry and express everything and be emotional. Because I also hate that, being like labeled as you're being emotional because you're a woman. That's
I like this. Jen Marie says,
so
I
it's the
physically
contrary.
fight men for my life, and we know their weak spots. It's true.
That's true.
That is very true. I mean, it's
So
just,
and it's complicated, and I think I see John said something here. I think I saw him. I'm gonna back to the chat because I see that there are some here. Blow drill. Hi. It says it's this like the bear versus a man in the woods encounter. I would like to error on humankind, but it's complicated, I guess.
it is complicated, and especially in today's world where everything needs to be so politically correct as well.
Yes, and I just want to say that if I'm saying something that it's not politically correct, I don't want to get lost in translation. I sometimes use words that are not my words because I'm not, English is not my first language, so I'm intending to be as helpful as possible in this topic. But if I say something politically incorrect, I apologize. Not something that I want to do right now. Okay, so society and evolution need to catch up with each other. Exactly.
That's for sure.
And then John says, as a member of Gen X, we as men were taught that our emotions were never to be shown outwardly, lest to be judged as weak or soft. It's been a struggle for me my entire life, sadly. And I see that with your generation, with my generation, and with others. Like it's also with my kids' generation. I see that the same kids in the same generation are always fighting and telling him, like, if he's not, like my son, for example, he's normally very assertive and he is very able to express how he feels, and he is very emotional aware, and he's very like he expresses how he feels. He cries, he doesn't care, like he's like that. So I'm proud of that because he's always been like that. But
And
he's been
how old
told
is your son?
it's 14. He's 14.
Okay.
But right now he's starting to struggle at school because of that, because he's like sometimes they bully him because he's so emotional. And I'm like, so it's a struggle because, like I said, I live in a country where this is looked as weak, and he needs to develop some balls. And
Nice.
yeah, so that's like what they say. So it's complicated as a mom of a teenager, how to raise him to have a healthy relationship with his emotions and how to express that in a healthy way. Because for me, as a woman, also I have struggled all my life about that. So I want him to be a good man that is emotionally healthy, to have a good relationship, who is able to put boundaries in place, healthy boundaries. So, and all of these is something that he can learn at home, but also needs to be reinforced outside. And it's complicated because then the society is not helping or allowing him to develop that skill that he has, which
at our very
a lot of men are lacking.
Yeah, at our very core, I think a healthy human being
In general.
is the same. I mean, we should each have the outlets for emotional growth and be able to talk about our feelings, whether that you be a man or a woman. Unfortunately, society places that extra stress on a boy and a man, especially as a boy is becoming a man, and that's not fair to them. But
Exactly.
it's just, you know.
And I think this is something that what I'm trying, like an example. I watch a few other channels and they address the issue, and there are so many guys burned by being vulnerable and opening up. There's a lot of men saying it's not worth it to open up. And that's the thing, that you then get bullied or they laugh at you, and then you don't open up because you're going to be bullied, so you want to protect your feelings. So maybe it's not the case of everyone, but I think it's like in general, what I've seen is the case for a lot of them. I see that with my husband. Like, he's very difficult to open up on his feelings and how he's feeling. And same with my dad. My dad, he never talks about how he feels. Never. And he can feel like he's dying, but he never opens up. And he's never seeking for help. So
I mean, I remember the first time I ever saw my dad cry. I mean, that was a big deal to see my dad cry, but at least he was able to do that. And that was in, gosh, his generation. My dad was born like 1929, fought in World War II, was in the Navy. But yet, when he was sad, he could cry. And I remember the first time seeing that. And, it made a really big impact on me. And it certainly, and not in a bad way, like in a good way,
I'm sorry, Shannon. We're having some technical issues, so I'm going to let Indigo pull up the comments on stage because we're going to have to star. They're not able to
I can
star.
pull.
No, they're going to put Indigo's going to pull them up onto the thing. If we can just keep a star, she's not letting her star for some reason. We tried to fix it.
Okay.
She can pull them up. We just can't. She can't star. So we're gonna have to watch the chat. I'm sorry,
There's
guys.
25 started right now, so I think
I went there. That's what I did. I went through there.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw this one. I think it's important to encourage vulnerability because pushing down your feelings actually causes emotional and chemical damage to you. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to pull this one up because this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. It is true. Men who do allow themselves to be vulnerable tend to get burned by bad women, which is sad because no one deserves to be manipulated. And then they're scarred for the rest of their life. Men are going through the same thing as women have went through. And that's important to know because it's not just women that get suckered in by narcissists and things like that. Men do too, and then they have to live with this.
Sure, there's women narcissists just like there's men.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I know I'm our female. We're all females, and y'all know how.
Sometimes women narcissists are the worst.
They're the worst. Yes.
Because
they hide themselves in the victim
package and a sweet.
Yes. And what is horrible about that is once you're sucked in that web, we all know what it is like to get out. And men to me, and I've talked to behind the scenes several men today and yesterday, and as we've been doing this topic this week, and the number one consensus that I found actually was that men just want to know they are loved, they're taken care of. That when they come in, they want, let them have their time if they need, just for us to give them their time instead of always demanding something that they're not ready to give. If that's better for their mental health, then let's talk about it, baby. We need to talk about it. When actually, like literally 4 of the 5 people I talked to said that's not what's best for them.
No, and we also need to respect that. And we need to respect that some men need more time to actually be comfortable for discussing their emotions. And we need to be patient and empathetic and consistent in our support. And if they don't want to talk, we need to respect that. And we don't need to push everything, because also we as women tend to be very pushy sometimes. At least I do. I recognize that I sometimes like, but we need to talk. Why don't we talk? Let's talk. Why don't we talk?
That's what we all do, though. I don't know if it's the female in us, the empath in us, what it is.
I don't know, but we need to solve things right away. And my friends, like male friends, won't let me lie if I feel like they're pulling away. Yeah.
Katie says, why one bad woman and we're all bad? No. I wasn't saying that. How many asshole women crossed before the right one? I don't understand that. Yeah, no, I didn't say we were all bad. I'm saying that one bad woman, one narcissistic female can ruin it for like the man's future forever, literally, because he's always going to be on that lookout of like.
Generalizations are always bad. When you are generalizing, like saying everyone is like this because you were wronged by one person, that's bad. I think there's exceptions to the rule, and not everyone. Everyone's has its own trauma.
I don't like that extreme.
Me neither.
Never some. I just Paralyzed to Paralyzed has 4 out of 5 said they don't want to talk. That's not just some. Or let's talk later. That's a no, and no is a complete sentence. There you go.
And why do you think that is? like I would like to understand why there's no openness in, for example, maybe open up and ask for support. And that's something that has been a question that I have as a woman that wants to
Can
support a
someone put
partner,
that
a
in the
friend, a
chat?
son, a dad. Why is that the case? Like, no is no, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And then how are you going to heal or
Right.
feel better if you are not processing what you're feeling? You don't
That's
maybe
a
you don't need to
So
talk.
I mean, there are times I need to be alone to process, and I think that some men feel that way too. You don't
But
know.
that I
Right.
get, and that's okay. That's a maybe I can talk later. But in this case,
Yeah.
it's no, it's a no, and no,
No,
I'm
hey,
not like my
Power,
dad.
can you tell us in the chat if you don't mind? I'm sorry, I can't see. If you could put in the chat like about the no is no, what Hamina's question was, because that's the only way that women are going to be educated enough to learn this. To learn these things if we hear it from a male perspective on these questions. And these are legit
Exactly,
questions.
because maybe it's a no, and I'll reach back to you when I'm ready to talk. But if it's a no, no, I'm not gonna talk ever. Then I think that's like
That would be
a
an
hard
individual
stop.
case, probably.
Yes.
I think, yeah, and it depends on what you're talking about. Are we talking about our relationship, or are we just talking about this is something I need alone time to process on my own? And
And I think like, or I don't know, but at least in my country, um, we women are mainly responsible for how we are raising the kids and bringing these stigmas, like, or breaking them. Because a lot of macho culture here in Mexico is reinforced by the mother, not the father. It's the mom who reinforces that and reinforces that the man needs to be taken care of by the wife and needs to be strong and doesn't cry, and all of that is reinforced by mom. So I think, at least in my country, we do have some responsibility. I don't say all, but some responsibility in how we are raising kids to be more able to share their emotions and how they handle
Right.
everything. So they are comfortable enough since they are little, and it comes natural to them to seek
Right.
for help when they need to, because it's important to seek for help. We are not gods, and we are not able to.
No, we're human, beautifully broken human beings.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I want to go to I want to go over here real quick. Thomas, thank you for the super chat, my dear love. Thank you. Let's get ready to rumble.
Awesome chat yesterday.
Yes, it was amazing. I really had a great time with him. He's got to come back. Blow drill. I think you brought this up, didn't you already?
Yes, I
It's
already.
like the bear versus the man in the woods. I was trying to fix the stuff back here, but I couldn't do it. So I would like to err on humankind, but it's complicated. Yeah, Dylan, really, for real. Brian says society and evolution need to catch up with each other. That's
Yeah, I
no
completely agree with that one.
Yeah, and I'm just there's one I was trying to get to here. Hockeytown John, as a member of Gen X, that would be all of us up here, right? Are you, Amina?
I'm in the line.
Oh, you're in the line? Okay. As a
82.
member of Gen
Yeah.
X, we as men are taught that our emotions were never to be shown outwardly, lest you be judged or weak or soft. Okay. It's been a struggle for me my entire life, sadly. That
And
I
I
hear.
see there's another response from Jan about the question that I asked about fear of rejection is an overwhelming fear for many men. Even if we no.
Okay, hang on. Let me go. Let me find it. I think I did.
I'm looking
It's
at
one
it
of
right
the
here.
last one.
Fear of rejection
do you
is
have
an overwhelming fear.
Okay.
Fear of rejection is an overwhelming fear for many men, even if we've been with our partners for many years. Those scars run deep. And this is what
That's
I
true.
want to understand.
That's exactly right. Okay, so here, power laws. I have this one. I have started this one earlier. Testosterone is a mood stabilizer, not feeling manly and being emotional or intertwined in the male experience. Interesting.
Well, certainly,
really-
our hormones certainly affect our feelings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, women can't be the only ones that say, "Oh, well, we're hormonal." That's not right either.
Oh. Exactly.
Human beings are hormonal in
Yes,
general.
we are.
But it's correct in that different hormones are in control. Testosterone's a very powerful hormone, and just like ours
Okay,
can be
so here we
crazy.
go. Here we go, Power. It says it's not natural to be vulnerable for a man. It will never feel safe. That's how men are wired.
Okay, let me
So,
just say, are either one of you comfortable being vulnerable? I mean, is that something just for men? I'm not comfortable with being vulnerable. Are you?
me,
No.
no, I'm scared to death
Well,
of
it
it.
depends on the situation or who am I with. But I'm like, normally
I
I'm
don't think
scared because
anybody's okay with being vulnerable. That's a very scary feeling, I think,
it
for both
is.
sexes.
Mhm. Right here, Jen. It's good to hear from men since we can't pretend to know what it feels like to be a man.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We don't, yeah, and we're not trying to pretend, yeah, we don't know. And this is why I'm asking, like, why
Yes, it's
is
great for
this
us to ask.
happening? Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
no, it's actually great. Surviving together, I like this comment. If an entire generation is raised with kindness to treat each other with kindness, wow, what this world could be. I agree.
and that's
I
why we
agree.
need to start at home. And I think that since we
Yes.
are noticing all of these things, we who have young kids and young children reinforce these values because that's the only thing we can do right now,
I
and
like
go to
this.
therapy.
Yes, therapy. I like this. Yeah, I'm sorry, my eyes are watering. Surviving together. You throw like a girl. There's so many derogatory phrases that reference women. Yeah, because men are supposed to, like we're sitting here talking about, we can take a, we don't take a punch. I mean, we can give a punch like a man does, or we can, but the same thing, they're going through the same thing. You throw like a girl, I mean, like it really is. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. Hi.
Hola.
Hola. Hola. Hola. So precious, so precious. But that is true on that, and that it also puts in the male species looking at the females like, well, why are you going to degrade me by calling me a woman or a girl? That starts from the beginning, and then look what society, raises. If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say here. Let's see. Heather says, I didn't see yesterday's live, so hope today's makes sense to me. Oh, yes, Heather. It was a very good live yesterday, actually. Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
This is for you, Hamina.
My hobby was raised in traditional Portuguese family. Female and male roles seem to be more defined. Yes, and same here. And like Mexico, it's very macho-like culture. It's starting to get better, but yeah, it's um, yeah, a lot of stereotypical things going on here.
Oh, Whip, my
Um,
friend here. Hi, everyone. Just stopping by to say
hey,
hello really quick. I know, Marisa. Hi, Hamina. I love your insight. It's very true. Hey, love to you, Marisa. Love
love
to
to
you,
you
babe.
all.
Yeah, definitely. Blow drill poet. Me. Yeah. Really love you, girl. Um, I was going down to see power. Let's see. I don't.
I'm sorry for all the interruptions. She
No,
just
look at this. Surviving together said Tamina,
oh,
how precious. Look,
very
I
cute.
know.
She's
Hi, Mandy.
my little
Hi,
one.
Mandy.
Oh,
So, I'm gonna go back to the start because I actually think we need interaction with this. Like, okay, so Tomas says, true, and like I said yesterday, it depends on your significant other because I've been burned a few times by opening up. In my honest opinion, that's a man's. There you go.
But we have a wonderful opportunity to break the stigma and to support our partners because we have
Yes.
a privileged like position, and sometimes we take that for granted because also like if I see someone struggling, like for example my dad or anything, I I can find myself judging sometimes or not asking the right questions or maybe confronting and then like why are you acting like this, and you see that develops into a fight and they don't open up, and it's like instead of trying
It
to
is a
communicate
vicious.
in healthy ways, and it's a cycle. So in my perspective we need to encourage like normalizing to have professional help, um, gentle reminders of activities that can help them with their mental health, like doing sports, things like that. Support that those activities. Like if he has a
Yeah.
hobby that he loves, why don't we support that? Because I've seen, especially here in Mexico, like I don't like him when he goes biking with his friends. Why not let him go? Like it's not that he has to ask for your permission. You don't know him, but it's like why don't you support those activities, because that's something that they can actually enjoy and
Right.
find help with, or
No, that's
listening
true.
without confronting, without judgment, because we also try to solve everything all the time as women. Like they tell us a problem and then why don't you do this, why don't you do that? At least I know that I've
I know that
been
I'm like that
in
too.
that situation. So my
Goes
my
for
psychologist told me one day, you are mothering your husband, like you are being his mother instead of his partner. Why don't you just listen?
Why don't you
And I
allow
was like,
them to vent?
I was,
Some people
yeah,
just need to vent. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
you let your girlfriends vent. Sometimes you have to allow men to vent too.
You're exactly
And,
right,
and the
Shannon and Hamida.
yeah, the stereotype too of women is the nagging, because
Yes.
sometimes they just need that time alone, and allowing them to have that, and the again, the wisdom to know the difference. And I just before we did
Yes.
this live with a male friend that I've been nagging a bit today because he has pulled away a little bit today. And I just said, "Do you just want to be left alone?" And he just texted me alone. So sometimes you have to respect that.
And those are
Uh,
boundaries that they set up, and I think we need to respect that. And they communicate those
here's
differently.
here. Power has this to say. Y'all need to hear men when he says that what he says instead of grouping up and reading books. Listen instead of telling him how he should really be. That's just demanding and emasculating.
Mhm.
That's what we're talking about.
Exactly,
You're
that's what
right.
we were saying. Like we shouldn't be nagging or saying what to say. Maybe you just listen, or if they don't want to be left alone, then let them be alone. Just let them know that you're there to support them if they want to, but don't force that. I think, or
Right.
at least
It's a
You're
that's
right.
process. It's a process. And he's just texted me back alone. Like, I need this time. And I respect that. Like I can't, and that's true both ways. I
but
mean, it's
I
just
think
listening to each other is a really big thing. Just listen to each other. And if I say I just
Power,
need,
you said, and Shannon, you said something very, and all of it, everybody on here has said something very important. Listening, not to listen listen to hear and understand. I think that's probably part of an issue that we all are guilty of.
but yeah, and that's what when my psychologist told me that I was
Whoa,
acting like his
wait.
mother.
You already feel attacked and corrected in this chat. Safe space. Oh, Power, no. Please do not feel like that. We are literally just trying to have a conversation. That's it. I want this to remain a safe space. Please do not think that.
I actually thought I was agreeing with them.
No, I mean we
Same
are. Yeah,
here.
we are. Please do not feel like that ever in here.
I don't. I didn't want you to feel like that. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Um,
we did not mean to make that assumption. We were actually agreeing that we need
and
to
like
listen.
like we said at the beginning, we don't know what this is about. We are talking about our perspective, dealing with situations that we don't know how to handle because we are women, and sometimes instead of helping, we're making things worse. That's
Right.
my case, and that my psychologist, that's what she told me. Like instead of helping, you're making him act like a child, pull away from you, do the things that you don't want him to do just because you are nagging him, like Shannon says, because you are acting like his mother. And when I started listening, things changed. So I think that's very
Hang on.
valuable what he's saying.
Okay, let me get this before this gets out of right. Okay, so Marisa says, I'm Mexican and Portuguese. That's why I always argue with people. Yeah, but I love you for that. Anyway, this is an interesting topic though, because men and women react differently emotionally. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. Power, the power says, oh, so now my feelings shouldn't be felt. Wait, okay, that's not crazy making. See my point? Listen, okay, so I am like really behind, or I am not, I'm totally speaking from another planet because I don't understand
We
what's
were
going
not
on.
invalidating your feelings. Your
No,
feelings
I
are
don't.
valid, and we want this to be a conversation. And we are
Yeah.
respecting everyone's point of view here.
Yeah, because that's what we're saying. We're trying to validate. I mean, that's what we're saying, that we agree with you that
So
we
I
should.
think maybe we are not understanding correctly what he's trying to say. And maybe if you would like to explain a little bit more, we could be able to understand you better so you don't feel like we are trying to undermine what you're feeling.
Yeah, because we definitely, that's what we're saying. You actually, Heather said that you're making her actually take a look and listen. We definitely want you here. And I know this is going to be a sensitive topic, and I knew it was going to be, but it's something that needs to be talked about, because how is anything ever going to get better if we don't get it better, if we don't make it better? Just being quiet. John says, it's such a frustrating circle. On one hand, we want to tell you how we feel, but on the other, we don't want to feel as though we're being forced to do it. It's maddening to lack the basic tools. And always, Tyler said, sorry, Power. If you feel attacked, I appreciate your perspective. So do I. I definitely. Let's see. Oh, wait. Okay. Of course you aren't understanding. Go back to my first two statements and hear them, not analyze and then seek consensus among yourselves. Okay, we did hear you. We are still having the point is we're trying to answer other people, and also there's other people that are just now jumping in the chat that are just now being able to hear this, and that's why we agree with you that just listen to you. We do understand that. And we're not disagreeing with you at all. In fact, you're teaching mainly us a different point of view on here, and that's great. Marisa says, my guy friends all tell me the same thing. Women think with our emotions. True. Men do not. So us women think men don't care when they do care. They're just quiet about it. I don't know. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me too. So I think what Brian is saying is what we have here is a failure to communicate.
And I think that's what happens because we sometimes see different things from very different perspectives and we think that we are fighting. And maybe we are just speaking different languages.
No, you're right.
And getting lost in translation.
Yeah. And Marisa is awesome, and she does get it. And I love her with all of my heart. She's a badass. And she does get it. You're right. And men absolutely think with their emotions, in my opinion. That is always tired. So that's what I said. We're trying to get it here. Women do lead. I'm going to be the first to tell you, we all lead with our emotions. Well, no, not all. There's no absolutes, but most women do lead with their emotions if they're not narcissistic assholes. Correct? I mean, we're always there trying to be in the mama bear. We're a woman for a reason, But also, men want to be heard. Men want, if they say no, don't go with well, here, let me make it better, and I'll be here if you want to talk later. Nope, they just want to be heard. When they say no, they say no. Just leave them alone. And I'm hoping that's what he's trying to say, and I hope that's what I got out of that. Marisa, when us women try to communicate, the men tell us we're communicating too much. Yeah, people in general think with their emotions. Yes. Okay. I mean, Shannon, I was going to say that where I was looking up earlier, where women make more than men, when I said that earlier, I just wanted to really quick. Counselors, combined food preparation and service workers, industrial production managers, stock clerks and order fillers, and first line supervisors of non-retail sales work. Those are the 5 occupations women industrial production managers earn the most on average, more than men. I know that's just, I didn't want everybody to think that I was just making that up off the top of my head. I actually did research into this.
But just
So,
in general, for the most part, though, male-dominated jobs usually do make more money.
yes,
Just if it's typically a male job, it's usually more money than
yes,
like a teacher. You know that you have to figure the traditional role models of the jobs that were acceptable for women. I mean, just through the last 50 years, you know, there's been more equality, but
right.
nurses tended to not make that kind of money. Teachers don't tend to make that much money.
I can
You
tell you,
know,
in my in IT sector in Mexico, I'm like very underpaid uh, in comparison to people who do the same work that I do. So I have to fight twice as much just to get the same compensation. And then I get discriminated because I'm a woman with
Right.
has a mother and like that. So I think there's inequalities still,
Yeah.
at least in countries like mine. And I've
Yeah,
thought,
it still happens, but it's not as prevalent here, you know?
no, in Mexico it does. Not that it's a general rule in the world, but this is why I'm talking about my perspective
Hey, surviving
from
together.
my
Hugs to you,
culture.
my dear. Please take care. Thank you for being here. I just got that. Really, thank you for being here. All our love. We really appreciate you. Um,
oh, sorry, I thought I was off camera.
You were clicked off, and you click back on. It's fine.
Oh, okay, because there was
Um,
somebody with a flashlight outside my door, and I just had to go
oh,
check that out.
are you okay?
Like, what are you doing at my house with a flashlight
Hugs
outside the
to
door?
you, survivor. Oh my
Freaked
God.
me out. But is there any
Um,
way we could put a link up for Surviving Together's channel? She's got a wonderful
yes,
channel.
actually, I want everybody's channels up, please. Like, if at all possible. And Indigo to make sure that happens. I'm sure. So
Thank
it
you.
is. Yeah. Surviving Togethers and Hamina's and Shannon.
I do. Sharing with Shannon.
Okay. See, I work in agriculture, which is super male dominated. I make more than 2 of people with just a little less responsibility combined. Wow. Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Indigo. I appreciate you so much. There you go. Yeah, it's in the chat. Awakened, hey, darling, how are you?
Oh, hi, Misha. It's so good to see
No,
you.
Misha's here. Feeling invalidated needs validation too. Sharing with Shannon. Okay, so let's see. Witness says the stress and pressure. Hang on, witness. Let me see if I can grab it. The stress and pressure in high tech are very bad, especially men, in my opinion. We were not coming in this conversation to validate anyone, to hurt anyone, to do anything like that. We did this as females wanting to learn from, so we can do better. We're only trying to do better. Yes, I want to do better. We want to do better because we're always talking about our female, I mean, everything, mostly, and it's a very tough conversation to have, and we know that, but we can do hard things. Simple as that. We can do hard things. This is something that unless we want everything to remain the same, we have to have these kind of conversations or there's never going to be a change. Men will never be able to come home and learn that his woman
I
is
want
going
to
be
learn because
Yeah.
I have a person as a husband who has addiction, who struggles with addiction, who uses addiction as a way to cope with his problems. And I haven't found a way, well, I didn't find a way to do that because I want him to be better for our daughter. That's the case. So I need to learn. My dad struggles with depression, struggles with a lot of things. He has a lot of things going on. So I want to learn because I need to know how to communicate. So I don't think that we are trying here to impose any ideas, just want to know. I'm also a mother of a little boy of 14 years old, and I want him to be able to talk his emotions and express how he feels without feeling judged. So I think we as women are part of this, and we as like men, we're a team. I think I see us as a society as a team. So we need to get together and see what helps instead of fighting with
Right.
genders and with all of that. I think we all have mental health issues. We all struggle with trauma. We all do that. So we need to learn how to communicate. But if we don't understand the basics, we won't be able to communicate. So this is why I'm here.
That's
And
why I'm here.
and that's why I want to learn.
Exactly, perfectly said. Because we're never gonna. What I say, what is the old saying? Change cannot occur until until the current situation remains too uncomfortable to remain the same. I mean, literally, we cannot change if we cannot communicate to figure out what that change needs to be.
And for us to be able to change and make changes and grow, we need to have uncomfortable conversations, and we need to have uncomfortable situations so we can actually understand each other. And that goes in any relationship. So this is why we have or we are trying to have this conversation. We are not trying to impose any ideology.
Yeah, we're not trying to make anybody. Yeah, absolutely. Awaken. Misha says, a closed mind, closed topic is the enemy of all. Thank you. And then Witness, I like what Witness says. My perspective is different. I have seen it. Men are under pressure. How do we talk? That's our question. Witness, thank you. That's our question. My only reason I did this topic for this week is because my other half, which never pays attention. I mean, he pays attention, but he doesn't interfere with anything I do on my YouTube. He asked me to do this. He said, do you know what mental health for men is like? Especially being raised with you're never supposed to show emotion. You provide for your family. You have all of this on your shoulders, and you still have to keep it together. And that is honestly, when he told me that, I'm like, who does he talk to? Because he doesn't talk about his feelings with me, and I don't push. What are we going to do? How are we going to close this gap? Let me see. Hot Desert Chick said, you all three just escaped narcissistic cults of personality. True that. Of course, that's what's on the top of your minds. It's important to recognize that too. That is absolutely correct. And we knew that from, when we started this, that we've all are newly damaged.
And I want to point this. In my case, I'm co-parenting with a narcissist. So in my case, this doesn't apply. I have my current partner struggles with addiction. So in this case, most of the raising is in my shoulders. So I need to understand that. And some women in my country are living the same situations that I am living. So I need to understand that, because I don't want to raise a narcissist as a son. I don't want to raise a little girl who is going to be abused by people who doesn't know how to communicate and doesn't know how to detect red flags. So I understand this is a shared responsibility in most of the cases, but there are cases like mine where you are left alone with the responsibility. And this is where I think it's important for us to have both perspectives.
Amina, thank you for that. Thank you for, just really. Drill says, Dylan says, mostly we just shut down and realize our role is not to feel. I also co-parent with an antisocial personality, and the task falls on me. Right, Dylan. You're right, Dylan. So see, it's the male and the female having to do.
Yeah, it's single parenting. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or it's men. If you are co-parenting with someone who doesn't have the skills, or the healthy mindset, how do you do that? And if this is we're talking about mental health, how do I understand the other part, that I'm not that gender? How do I teach that to my son? So it's complicated. So I really want to understand, genuinely want to understand, because I want to be a good mother. That's
and there we go. Hamina from Barbie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbie. And John, not long ago, I wanted to just crawl under a rock and die over my depression. It took these amazing women not taking no for an answer and forced me to step back into the light. They never gave up. So see, there's all different. I mean, it's going to depend on the situation, I believe. Parenting is such an important consideration. Both sides should work together for best of child. In my case, he was only there to give us grief. I had to walk away from thinking I could change him. Thank you. There you go. The only answer is there are no easy answers. Absolutely. I mean,
if you don't have the conversation, then you're not going to go anywhere. So at least
yeah, we're here to have.
We're having the conversation. That's the only way we can learn.
You're right, Shannon. Perfect. I mean, one way is to shed expectations from others. Meet them where they are, at where you can meet them where they are at when you can, and accept that sometimes people are not concerned with understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dylan.
Very true.
Very, very true. Let's see. Tomas, thank you for that. I appreciate your super chat. As a man, I would have liked for my ex-wife, when I was in a very dark place, to just give me a hug and tell me I got you. Simple as that for me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Tomas. I appreciate that.
Thanks for sharing.
And this is what I was trying to get at when I was saying that we are there and we know what they are going through, because we know the stress they have at their work or they are going on in their lives.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are not as supportive as we should, because we are also perpetuating these stigmas that men need to be tough and they can handle everything. And instead of being helpful, we are not being helpful. So if one doesn't want to talk, it's fine. Let him.
We need to.
But we need to acknowledge what they're doing without judgment and without trying to mother them, as my psychologist says. For me, that was very enlightening.
So I had jotted down some notes earlier, and I'm going to make it really quick. So, but to recognize that what men see as abuse is a reaction. Wait, hang on. What we see as abuse is a reaction to a long-term gaslighting mission. If a man, did that make sense? Did I write it down right? Okay, so what we see as abuse from a man, when a man overreacts, like when he's had enough, we see it as abuse, but it could be from a long-term gaslighting mission from the female. You know, I say we as a gender, because come on, y'all, we're going to have to admit these hard things. There's a lot of narcissistic women.
Oh, sure.
They take it men. I mean, the same goes both ways, but we're just having this one conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They use a man's triggers against them. How fair is that? You know, it's not fair to us either, but it's not fair to them. What is this one about? Well, when they keep asking, well, what's wrong? And we just, nothing. They can't read our minds. We're all guilty of that. I know for sure. I can say that with all.
And that's basic communication. And I think we all as human beings have struggled with that. I don't know why we were raised like that. And I think it's generational.
It is.
People from my generation, like you're not allowed to speak how you feel. And I was bullied a lot. So I didn't count. Or I was like, all of these things that we've raised, my parents, how they were raised, my mom, how she was raised. So all of these has consequences, and the consequences are the mental health issues that we are struggling with right now, because we don't have and don't know how to set healthy boundaries. We don't know how to express our emotions, and we are always getting defensive, or most of the time.
And there's generational trauma.
Exactly.
Right, Shannon. Yes, absolutely. Look,
and then we go to the other side. Like we were, for example, I was.
The things that I was just saying, look at that, read that. Sounds a bit like my ex-wife, okay? I'm sorry, let me see. Where did I lose my stuff here? Hello, y'all. I'm trying to find it. Okay, right here. Look at this. I have a TikTok video made by that song. I put on that song. Dax, Real Man, is a good explanation of how some relationships occur. Thanks for taking on this topic. It's one that needs attention. Thank you, both, Dylan. I really appreciate it, because it's a hard one. And we can do hard things, but it is a hard one. We're not wanting to hurt anyone or make anyone feel uncomfortable at all. But that song by Dax is truly, I've got a video of my man on there that I made to put on TikTok because he works his butt off. And it's the least I could do to show him that I see him. And that song is so, God, it touches your soul. It does mine. But autistic. Okay, so Barbie's like this. My son is autistic and I like his directness. That is something that, yes. And
I think a lot of us need to learn how to be direct, honest on what we say. Sometimes we don't, and because we don't want to hurt other people or what. I don't know why, but we think diplomatic is the way to go, and it's not always the case.
Because we don't want to, we're empaths. We don't want to hurt anyone. That's just the nature of the beast on that. Like, we are literally empaths and we're not out to hurt anyone. When you have the opposite side of us, the narcissist, that's the main trait, that's all they do is they're out to get fuel. So there's a big difference in being an empath and truly caring about somebody, and being the narcissist that pretends to truly care to get their fuel. That's where I believe the damage starts. I mean, that's my opinion.
Very damaging. That was my very first relationship, was with the narcissist. And I've been running from it ever since. It's so much.
Shannon.
And we tend to meet them, like, I have them at work, in YouTube, and everywhere I go, there's one, and I'm trying to avoid them as much as possible.
Okay, so on here, and I also wrote, men don't like to talk about their past because their past trauma, because it doesn't help them in present time. That's what I was saying at the beginning. Like, they don't want to go back and talk about what happened to them years ago. They are worried about present time and providing.
Also being like generalization, because I think that's also, going to the past provokes depression, going to the future provokes anxiety. So it's important to be in the present moment. I think the problem is not going back. The problem is there are things that you didn't process that leave scars and that you need to talk about so you can function better in the present. So how do you handle that? Or how do you address that with someone who's not willing to talk? And that's exactly my point with my partner. Like, he doesn't want to talk about the past.
But you can't force it.
And you can't address it because I can force it and I can judge. So that's the thing, that sometimes, even when we want to help and we want to be supportive, we don't know how to. And we are, in this case, 3 women that want to learn. I know there's a lot of women who doesn't, but or other partners, maybe even male to another male.
Right. Ben says males make up 75% of narcissists and females make up 65 to 70% of histrionic personality disorders. It's still all cluster B behavior. Exactly.
I want to put Dylan's.
That one. Holding space for another human is one of our gifts as humans, and maybe even how our Creator can speak through us. I like that, Dylan. I really like that, Dylan. I agree so much. John, it takes some men a lifetime to open up about feelings, but one narcissistic woman can undo it with a snap of the fingers, and it sadly will affect every female relationship we have after that. That is what Power was trying to say. That all it takes is a relationship with one narcissistic woman, and they're forever going to not be the same.
But that's not the case with men. You as women, like, I was in a narcissistic relationship, and since then I haven't been the same. Yeah. And I'm scarred for life. Mm-hmm. So I think it's not in general it's not gender related.
It's not gender related
relationships, because that's one.
So there you go. We've actually come up with something positive here with progression into this conversation, that it's not gender related. It's the same on both sides.
Yes.
That is a definite.
An experience.
Yes. Unfortunately, from the experience.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And these are this trauma is very difficult to overcome.
Hot Desert Chicks, I had to realize that it's not my right to fix things for other people. That is something we all need to take a look at. That's true. I mean,
Sometimes we want to wear a superhero's cape and save everyone, but we need to remind ourselves that healing, it's not on us to heal other people. It's on them,
right.
and it's their responsibility. So we can just provide the tools, we can just sit and watch, but we can't do the work for them. Like they say, you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink.
Here we
So-
go. There you go, Hot Desert. So true. And that's what it took, was a conversation for us to understand and help others understand exactly. It might have took us a little while to get there because we, but we all agree with that. It's not another person's right to fix everything or someone else. So
No,
yes,
but we can work on being more, like not empathic, but like be open and supportive without imposing our ideas and the way we feel that things need to be solved. I think just being there for someone and holding space for them. I saw that comment somewhere. That can go a long way for them to open up, or only feel supported. Even maybe they don't talk, but they feel supported. They know you're there,
Right.
so that makes all the difference sometimes.
Dylan says, I'm also scared for having grown up in a cult. It's my choice not to bring my trauma everywhere I go. Sometimes my best action is to sit with another and just breathe with them.
That's
Like
very
that,
helpful.
Dylan. Very helpful,
If
Dylan.
you have a friend that you can just have comfortable silences with, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If you can, but I mean, I have a tendency to like fill in the gaps by talking too much, but comfortable silence is a good thing. It's a good thing.
And
in a
then
relationship.
joking. I'm sorry.
Disco.
Always,
Okay, so disco.
he's always making me laugh. Yesterday, I
Power
think I
says
had
Dylan, yes,
my
I agree.
belly was hurting because of the laughs I had with Shannon yesterday because of Ben.
Brian, amen on this. But Dylan, you've got this, my friend. You're still here, and that's something. I agree with that. And this is true, Indigo. I think it's hard for me to see people I care about in pain, even if it's just a friend or acquaintance. I really care about making the world a better place, but I'm trying to fix my approach, and that's all we can do. We can learn from this what's going to be better to help others. Because there is such a great divide between the male and the female mental health, and it's mostly cultural. And men feel like they're not enough. If they carry the weight of providing for their whole family, and then they can't even in return get, like Power was saying, just when we say no, we don't want to talk about it, that's it. Hear them.
Respect it.
Respect it. Thank you, Shannon. Yes. Respect it. And we shouldn't have to trauma dump on them either. And I do believe that's why my therapist started me doing my car talks to and from work, so that I didn't come home and trauma dump on him as soon as he walks through the door. He doesn't want to hear about everything that happened bad that day or good or vice versa. He needs to have time to come home and decompress himself in whatever way that means.
I can see that. I have a tendency to trauma dump myself.
I do too. Men's shoulders are stronger for a reason, I always have said. And
Yeah.
Indigo said, I would just want to say that to the men supporting this channel, you are enough. We appreciate you. Absolutely.
Yes.
But wait, I have what Ben says here. Wait. Oh, wait. Yes, we appreciate you. Thank you, Indigo. This one. I support you in your quest to leave people better than you found them. And then Always Tired says, oversharing can be a problem too. Yes, I didn't see that while ago. Thank you. Yes, like I said, when they walk in from work, like he just come home from work, he's had a hard week. I'm not going to go run in there and, just start dumping on him. They're excited to watch the fight coming up. getting everything set up in there while I'm in here, and I'm like, I'm not going to go in there with all these tears in my eyes and everything, because I'm hurting and life just sucks right now. But I'm going to do that in here. When I get off, I will sit in here until I can go in there and be myself. I'm hurt people. I'm not going to be part of that problem.
That's good. Yeah. Hurt people do hurt people.
And I do not ever want to be a part of that problem. And that's an absolute for me. I never want to do that to anyone. If I am doing that, I'm going to do whatever it takes to change my ways to not hurt another human being. I do not want that. Especially someone in my household that I love and that I'm close to and that, that does everything that he can to make this house a home. The first home I've really ever had in a long time. So, and I've really appreciated all of the men in here that have given that advice.
Yes.
And given us advice.
Men that are willing to share their feelings, that's wonderful. That gives us a place to start, a place of understanding. I think I understand a bit more now than when I came in. And so I've learned. So, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's see.
All the men that contribute, I really appreciate you.
Boudreaux, when a person decides to heal, they are mindful not to bleed all over the people around them. Yeah. Always, if I don't feel heard, I stop sharing. That's another one. Shut down. You shut down. Hey, Journey, how are you, my dear? Oh gosh, what is Ben talking about here? Rod Stewart's gold or his striped pants have been discussed before. Okay, it was me.
Ben being Ben.
Oh my God, Ben. You have to laugh. Make me laugh. But Power, I want to tell you, thank you for contributing to this conversation, because I'm going to tell you, it has taught us things. It has helped us with things, because we were never going to learn unless we know what we don't know. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. And now that we have been given this information, it's up to us what we choose to do with it. And after that, it does become our responsibility. And I truly believe that. Opinions?
There was Misha say, before this community found me, I had men in a different light than I do now. Men hurt me. I wanted a partner, but every time I thought I found one, they hurt me again. I began to think real men didn't.
Second part is below.
Exist. Now I realize so much more than I ever did. I now respect men again. So thanks to all you fellers.
There you fellers. Yeah.
Who show your real side.
There you go.
Fellers. I learned it.
And always tired fellers. That's a Southern one, you fellers. Always tired. Only when we are perfect will we find a perfect partner, and that's absolutely true too. That's absolutely Journey. Hi, honey. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Perfectly imperfect.
It's Southern, y'all. That's right, Ben. It's Southern, y'all.
Yeah.
Fellers. I'm sorry, I'm a y'all. Dylan, words to our moms. We came to drop bombs. Appreciate everyone here for being here and contributing to this topic. No, we do appreciate it so much, because if you don't, like I said, if we don't know, oh, you're fine, but Dylan, if we don't know what we don't know until we know. And this is helping us learn to do better.
Yes.
And to be better and to improve. And like, I'm sorry, like Hamina's raising her, she needs this input. That's what she was saying. She appreciates this input because she's doing this alone. And she doesn't want to, even though we're all going to make mistakes, no one's perfect. She's kind of is like the perfect mom.
Yes.
Believe me, I'm not.
We all do. I think at least we're trying to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be.
I'm trying to give them what I didn't have, show them what I didn't learn when I was little. I'm acknowledging my mistakes. When I make mistakes, I try to make it better and right. So when I mess up, because I do mess up frequently, I ask them to forgive me, and it's been good for our relationship. So we're getting there. But I do want to raise a good man, and I think I'm halfway there. So hopefully he will be, because his father is not the best example. So
Well, you are a good
Your
example.
son is very lucky to have you for a
Yes,
mom.
he is. Yes,
yeah,
he is.
but he's with his dad half the time. So I struggle a lot with
We
that.
do what we can
But
do.
I've never said anything negative about him to my
Good.
son. It's
Good.
it's has taken me my whole strength not to.
I mean, yeah, can you imagine recently the person who said to me that their father was a saint? You know, somebody in their 30s that thinks that their parent is a saint. Ooh.
We're all
It
human.
happens.
We all make mistakes, and none of us are perfect.
No, no, and it's so my son has heard that I'm crazy, that I'm nuts, that I belong into a mental institution, all of those things. He has heard that. So that I won't love him anymore, that I don't because I have a daughter. He's heard a lot of things.
Sorry
Good
about
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that
some
shouldn't
crazy people
happen.
out there. Yeah. So,
That shouldn't happen. You know, it really
mhm.
shouldn't.
But I've kept my word. I haven't said anything to my son. He doesn't know I have a channel, so hopefully he doesn't see it. But yeah.
But it's interesting. I've noticed in my experience that with limiting beliefs, men's tends to be I am not enough. Woman tends to be I need to push myself down so someone else will rise. Interesting.
Very
Now you're gonna
interesting.
make me think. Ben, I gotta put that back up there. I have to read that again. With limiting beliefs. Men tends to be I am not enough. Women's tend to be I need to push myself down so someone else will rise.
That's very sad.
That's actually insightful.
It's very sad.
I wish
On both sides.
not. I don't want to push myself down so someone else can rise.
I like thank you, Barbie, for your super sticker. I really appreciate that so much.
Says he
so
could be
much.
wrong, but I mean,
I could be wrong, but you said that's just what you've noticed that.
yes, you've noticed.
Let's see. Oh wait, Misha says
Aw.
children are also smart. I've never said anything bad about their father. Not same on the other end. They are 50, like you, Hamina. They're 50%. But each of us, they watch, live by example, and try, not by trying to overcorrect. Love y'all. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, you're
That's
so
the
right.
best approach we can take.
So
Yeah.
sweet.
Yes. John, thank you for your super chat. You're very, very much, you're very appreciated. You are the best friends that a man could ever ask for. Thank you so much for believing in me when I couldn't myself. I owe you so much. You don't owe us anything, John. That's what
Oh,
friends
he
do.
does. He needs to pay back. I want money.
friends, that's what we're here for. And yes, we have a relationship beyond outside this channel. He's laughing at you. I mean,
He knows I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm always joking with him.
With John, you know. Okay,
I
wait a
give
minute.
him a very hard time all the time.
Yeah, but he knows we love him, and we're always here for him.
And I'm like, why are you pulling away? Why are you pulling away? Why are you pulling away? So I
Okay,
think I know
always,
him a little bit.
You are my friend, very much my friend, like beyond friend, and I want to know why you do not feel like you're ever enough. We're going to have this conversation off screen, and I'm going to be calling you in a minute.
Oh, yeah, you should never
You
feel
are enough. You are enough. You are my friend. You are my true friend. You are enough. You do so much for everyone. I know she's under another name, but I know who it is, and I'm going to tell you something. You are enough. And don't let assholes make you feel like you're not.
Don't give them the power. They only have that power if you give it to them. So don't let
Wait a
anyone
minute.
tell
What did
you
she say?
otherwise.
Just because I feel that way doesn't mean it's true. There you go. Because it's not true. You know why? Because I love you and I know you and you. No. No. I'm just going to keep saying no. Brian said, I heard a lot of negative crap about men from my mom growing up. There we go. Especially my dad. She has a bad picker, something I inherited. No wonder she was married 7 times.
Ouch.
Okay. Yeah. Oh gosh. Ben says, okay. Oh, I'm tired. Yeah, both are pretty popular. It's just the first one for each sex tends to be that for the people I've talked to. I was reading their conversation. Let's see. Witness. Just my advice. Don't watch those silly AI generated 4 rules of women or what women really want. Those are overgeneralizations. Good thing I don't even have a clue what she's talking about. Witness, I don't know. So you're good here. I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's see. Hot Desert Chicks. My mom always said that she never said anything bad about my dad, but she never did. But she never said anything good either, which was just as bad. I can see that because I kind of was in that same position. Like I never heard anything negative about my dad, but never heard anything good about him either. And so you wonder, why do I exist? What was there never any good for y'all?
I think you can answer questions. Like, I don't deny my son when he asks questions like, how did you fall in love with my dad? Or what did you find like good? Like, I talk about it. It's not stigma at home, but I don't tell him about the abuse, or I don't tell him about, like, he saw that. So he'll make that connection at some point in his life.
Right.
And when he asks, I'm going to be honest, but I'm trying not to trash his dad, like to make him hate him. That's not my intent. So I do talk about when he asks. It's not that I bring up the conversation because I don't like talking about him, but
well, I mean, you also suffer a lot of abuse for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree with you always. Ben is very insightful.
And funny.
And very funny. And Witness, good for you, Queen History. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about, Witness, and I'm not even going to look for him.
Yeah, I don't like AI generated anything anyway, so anytime I see something AI generated, I get out of it.
It's really not surprising I have some of the issues that I have been working on most of my adult life. And see, you are working on them, Brian, and then I have some men that have told me that they don't want to bring those issues back up from the past because they don't want to live there. They just want to live in the present time and take today one day, today as it comes, and then tomorrow will have its own new set of problems and they'll deal with it then. And I have to respect that,
That's my dad. He always talks like that. He always say that.
I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I mean,
no, when you are using it as in a healthy way, I think. But when you are just hiding that's like a real problem. I think that's not healthy. So with my dad, I'm not trying to judge here, but he does that to avoid difficult conversations and avoid difficult topics for him. Not that he wants to live in the present. Me, I like to live in the present. I try not to focus on the past and not to worry about the future, and I try to live in the present, but it's different than avoiding.
Bit of avoidance, yeah. No, that's true.
So that depends on the
situation. It's all situational.
Yeah, too. Exactly.
Yeah, and women that, and it can go both ways. But I'm going to turn, since we are talking about men's mental health, I'm going to turn this over to the women now. Like, and Hot Desert Chicks was right. We all three just escaped a narcissistic relationship, right? I mean, no one knows. I mean, we're not hiding that. I'm not about here to lie about anything. But I will say that as an empath, I always know that what is the first thing that people are going to do, or what's the first type of person that's going to be wanting to come into my life. A narcissist. Easy prey, easy feeding. I mean, that's what narcissists do. They go after empaths.
Mhm.
And what are empaths most attracted to? Narcissists. Because if you were attracted to your same type, how boring would that be? So there's just that law of nature there that is just so true. I mean, I'm serious. This is like so true about that.
Like magnets, opposites attract.
It is. That's true.
Mhm.
Yes, Hockey Town John. Wait, Ben says, okay. Ben says empaths and codependents, yes. And John says they can spot us a mile away. Unfortunately, yes. Thank you, Tomas. Like, subscribe, spread the word. This is an awesome channel. Thank you so much for that. I
Thank you,
really do
Tomas.
appreciate that, Thomas. Really, I do. I mean, it takes a village here. Barbie, I'm an empath, and I can relate, Keela. I try to be more careful as I've gotten older, and that's another thing.
But
We
I
have
think, yeah, exactly.
wisdom and experience.
Because I was codependent with my relationships before. Now I'm still an empath, and I still like tend to feel bad for other people and all of that. But boundaries is the
Oh,
key.
yes, and you, the one who taught me about boundaries.
That's
That one right there
the
taught
thing
me.
that I've worked the most in my life
Yeah.
lately.
Witness.
And
My advice, if you're an empath, you should actively protect yourself. Mental health, it helps a lot. Yes, you're right.
because you detect red flags, and
Yeah, the
right
red
away
flags.
you can start seeing. So I can detect them now because how they act, and I can set boundaries to protect myself. But I'm a target, like because
Oh,
of
I know I am.
my
Definitely. We all are. I mean, we
yeah.
all are. Male, female, it doesn't matter. Male or female, we are all targets. If you're an empath, you're going to be a target for a narcissist. And then once you get sucked into that vortex, we all know it's almost impossible to get out. Now, some of us can walk away and zero contact and just be done. But it had to get to that point, which was not mentally well.
It's not easy to step away once you are
Oh,
already
Paige, thank
there.
you. We have a new advocate. Paige, wonderful. Welcome to the family.
Mhm.
We are advocates for mental health. Men, women, and theys. There you go, Mandy. There you go. Yes. Ben says, learning to ground and protect yourself through boundaries are huge. If you're an empath and try to isolate yourself as I did, it creates more problems than it solves.
For me, that I need to co-parent with a narcissist, the best technique ever is gray rocking. You just leave the conversations factual. That's it.
And see, I
You don't
just
engage.
zero contact.
Yeah, but you don't need to co-parent with the
I
person.
don't have to co-parent. That's right.
Right.
Heather Max says,
And that's the thing.
So-
Not all of us are able to go zero contact with coworkers.
yeah, I zero
or
contact because that's the only way I could do it.
exes or yeah.
No, and that's right. But the gray rocking method does work. It's just I went zero contact.
They should train more the gray rock. I had to watch
They
this Dr.
should.
Romani
I
a
love
lot
that.
to
I love
learn
her, yeah.
that method, and she helped me a lot, and my psychologist helped me a lot with that.
Yeah,
Because
but
zero
see,
contact is easy, but yeah, well,
It's what-
easy to apply, not to.
Yeah, it is.
Just
It
don't
really is.
do
Like
block.
zero contact is. I know it's easy. It's easy. It's not easy in your heart or your mind, but it's easy to facilitate.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't have to worry about communicating with them. You just zero contact. And sometimes to protect your mental health, maybe that's the only way that some can go. Question to the men. So once we understand how you guys deal with anxiety, life, etc., does it ever change? Do you change your ways of dealing with your mental health? My boyfriend goes to the gym, etc. That's a good question. Oh, yes, this is Arya's daughter, Paige. And welcome to the family, Paige. You are more than welcome here. Okay, so here we go. Wait, Power's going to answer Heather's question. Honestly, Heather, I've never really thought about it to that depth. Feels wrong to think about thinking about how I'm going to think about it later at some point. Yeah, okay, though. And that's why we stay so confused. Women stay so confused. I mean, it really is. It's I think it's going to be where we have to learn to meet each other where we're at. You know, no one's perfect. No one's going to ever be perfect. No one's going to have a perfect relationship. But what we can do is give some grace to those that don't yet know how to be perfect, you know, and opposite kick his butt. Y'all are complicated.
No, we
are
complicated.
Women are
complicated.
Listen to me. Now I understand so much. You have to want to change for yourself. That's what I learned. I've become a much better person in my 30s because I started there. Yes. It's in Ben says, but then going back to dealing with a narcissist, I keep hearing Dr. Phil in my head whenever anyone talks about continuing to have contact with them. How's that working for you?
Yeah, what are you getting at?
That's how we are. When they wrote the book, Women Are From Mars, well, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, I absolutely nailed that. We speak two different languages, even. I feel sometimes.
Sometimes it feels that way.
Sometimes it feels that way. But if we keep having these difficult conversations, who knows what we can do?
Past it is to try and learn. I mean, that's how you learn a different language, is by talking. You know,
that's
even
right.
if it's like from English to Spanish, just communication. You just do the best you can do. I mean, and really, that's all we can really ever do, right? It's just our best.
And you can't expect us to be perfect.
Yeah, and I'm going into it with good faith, and sometimes you come up against somebody that doesn't have the best intentions towards you, and so then you move on.
And see, that's another question I was asked. How do you learn to trust again? After you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, how do you learn to trust again?
I don't know. I'm left scarred, and I have serious trust issues. With my husband, he won't let me lie. He sometimes is what's going on, and since we're struggling also with our own issues with addiction and all of that, it's very hard for me to trust again anything from anyone, and friendships and all. But I'm trying to be authentic and, I don't know, take a leap of faith.
Shannon, that leap of faith. Yeah, that's my answer. I mean, really. Shannon, what do you have to say about that one?
Oh, I'm singing Love Shack, baby.
Oh, yeah, he's sitting in the corner.
Bang, bang. On the floor, baby, bang. I don't know.
Ben gets sit in the corner. Not really, Ben. But no, I mean, how do you learn to trust again?
For me, I haven't been able to. I mean, it really destroyed my confidence in being able to trust. I don't know how to do it. I need to work on it.
And I don't know if it's not trusting them, it's trusting my judgment that it's complete.
Right, trusting myself.
Right.
It's not, so I was left so insecure about my own judgment that I don't trust my reality. So I've been working on that mostly. Not that I don't trust him or other people. It's more me that I don't trust.
Right. And you're like me, it's my reactions too. Like, I don't trust what my reaction's going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, trust you're going to pick the wrong ones over and over, accept it, and at least be somewhat responsible when it goes to crap. Okay, that's true. So true. Tomas says, for stress, I used to go ride on my motorcycle or my bicycle for a while when I was in Miami. I'll go to the range to practice long distance shooting, respiration, and trigger discipline. Being in the military, I can absolutely see where that would be just a way to decompress. Yes. Okay. Hello, beautiful. It's here finally, darling. My beautiful one. As an empath, I think it's just something I do. I trust. Okay, this is me right here. I trust.
Hello,
unless
beautiful.
Given a reason not to. Yes, hello, beautiful. That is exactly my answer to that. Also, it is. I will try. Hi, Janet. I will trust until given a reason not to. That's that as an empath. I mean, that's in our nature. Although what I cannot handle is what Power Lie said. Just take responsibility when it all goes to crap, because you know. And yes, not trusting is based on past experiences. Hi, Janet. How are you doing, darling? And hello, beautiful. But yes, it's exactly right. It's all our past experiences. So we need to. I know that you have to learn a lesson through everything you go through. But me, I have a really rough time.
Mhm.
I have a really rough time because I want to see the good in people. I want to be right about that they're good. But what happens?
Me, I've been learning more with the boundaries thing and with the me documenting myself about narcissism and therapy and all of that. I think I start to trust my gut feeling a little bit more because that shows. And when you're feeling uneasy with someone, this person is not right. Normally, you should trust that. It's a very small time where you feel that, like when you first meet them, it's like, something's not right here.
That's not
You
right.
should trust that. I think, yeah, and be more cautious. I think as an empath, we need to be very cautious on how we place our trusts into people because we tend to be fooled very easily. So we need to be very careful on how we do that.
Absolutely.
But it takes time and effort not
Right
to.
here. Hello. I wish I could trust without reason again, but I recently got burned in friendships that really hurt, that are really bad. So it takes a while for me to feel comfortable with new people. Okay. And then John says, trust is so hard to get back once someone takes it from you. The journey is long, but having a community like this one goes such a long way to learning to trust again. Okay. And Barbie says, my hubby jogs or rides his bicycle at least 3 times a week. I think it helps our marriage. Yeah. And then, hello, beautiful. You will, but you'll still hurt. But that's what empaths do. We're a glutton for punishment. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. It is, And Indigo, I really like this. I took a big risk trusting new people in this community, and I'm so glad I did, and I'm so glad you did too, because we all are like that in this. And I say all because everybody that's in our community here, we're the same for us. We've all been just hurt so bad, but we're learning to live again, if that makes any sense.
It does. Mm-hmm.
And okay, so always tired. You said, I'm always devastated when people aren't the image I think of them. Yes, I agree with that. But I'm going to show you something else. Oh, spunkier tonight. Yeah, I've already done my crying, Janet. Sorry, thank you. Powerless, paralyzed. Trust that you'll be hurt and lied to at times. Deal with it. Man up. Over to you. Man up. And that's where society. I'm going to go back here what I was talking about a while ago. And see all the guys are like, yeah, true enough. I'm going to go back to something that, I hope I saved it, that Dylan said right here. As human acceptance over expectations, with an attempt to meet one another where they are at. When that fails, healthy boundaries and distance are options. I really applaud Dylan for this. And he told me that when we were on the phone one night. He said, acceptance over expectations. So don't expect someone to give something that they can't give. That's just a setup for failure. I mean,
yeah, I no longer have expectations. I will say that. I mean,
I like what Virgil
that
said.
was something I had when I was younger. I think that's something I got over as I got older.
Yeah. I just really like the way that he says that, and I did write it down that one night when we were on the phone, acceptance over expectations and meet someone where they're at. Yes. I mean, that's the truth. I agree with Dylan. Yes, I do too. I agree with Dylan.
Yes, but also, I don't know, that's also risky to accept where they are, because sometimes you are accepting behaviors that are against your boundaries. So you need to be careful what you are accepting from other people. It's okay to not have the expectations, but also you need to set boundaries
Yeah,
so you
that's
are
what he was saying in the
protected.
second part. Yeah, the second part. If that doesn't work, then you set the boundaries and you.
Right.
What
But
did
when
it say?
somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
When that fails, healthy
Exactly.
boundaries and distance are options. Yeah,
When they're showing you who they are, believe them. I think Maya Angelou said that.
I love her. I
Yeah.
love the quotes. I think that's amazing. Always, I've got such a bad cry headache right now. Guess taking out the trash is painful when it's heavy.
It sure is.
It is. It is. And these are y'all. These are very. Wait. Witness says, I agree with Amina. You have to remove toxic from your life sometimes. Yes, absolutely. Shannon. Barbie says, this is true, Shannon. Oh, she's always the wise. Done.
I feel like Yoda now.
She knows they see, destroy the evidence.
Gandalf.
Right. Always destroy the evidence. You know, don't videotape yourself doing a crime.
One of my mistakes was to put my ex in a pedestal, but I learned after the divorce. Yes. Yes, Thomas, yes. Slow beginnings, quick endings. That is really good advice, Amy.
I think so too.
That's really good advice, Amy.
Take it slow.
I think it has been overall a very fruitful conversation.
I do too. I think we've had a great conversation, and I appreciate everyone that has participated, because this has really been a learning experience for us women to learn. You know, I mean, we're the ones always doing the talking and trying to figure everything out. But I mean, we've been putting some pretty hard questions in press tonight, and I think that, like I said, that's great. Yes, that's slow beginnings, quick endings. Oh, always, sir. Thank you so much. All three of you ladies inspire me, as well as the people here. I appreciate every single one in this chat and everybody that's participated, because do you know that y'all have given us a whole lot to think about and a whole lot to figure out, because men are not the only ones that have to change. Us women have to do better.
Absolutely.
And
I think we have to work together to make things better.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one has to do more than the other. No, I think we need to meet halfway and work together to make this
communication better. Though we have to communicate, and exactly. I'm not meaning to like we were talking about when they want to be left alone. I'm saying when it's the right time to have these conversations. This teaches us what to do. I mean, we're not men. You know, we're not men. So yeah, it teaches us a lot when we have these hard conversations. So thank you, all of you. And Hockey Town John says, thank you, ladies, for caring enough to talk about the subject. Absolutely. We love you, John. Absolutely.
It's not showing my heart, so I don't know why.
I can't do it with my hand. I'm not trying.
Sorry.
Just, I don't even know if it would do. I can't even get to do anything.
What John said. I think Thomas is very funny.
I love
Thomas. I love to have a chat with him. If he speaks Spanish.
I would love to listen to the chat with y'all both speaking Spanish.
That would be fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because okay. Oh, really, Barbie, thank you so much. I really appreciated being in this chat tonight with thank you. Okay, wait. During the time I wasn't responding, I was being a man and handling my emotions. See how it worked out?
Well, I like to think I learned from
I learned from the conversation, and I think he was very insightful for me.
Oh, Rachel, there you go. Yes, Power, you're very insightful.
Yeah.
How's she doing?
So for me, it was very helpful.
Very helpful here too, because I've never I have never discussed that. So yeah, thank you. Rachel's like, no habla español.
Disculpe, señor, is this?
Oh gosh, there's been. What did he say?
If we are in the fart zone or something like that. Excuse me, sir. Is this the fart zone?
Serge, hang on. I gotta stop. Yeah, witness, get him.
Con permiso.
Well, hang on, wait. We should do part two with the guys. If Ben can behave himself, that was what I wanted. I wanted to do that. But tomorrow I have someone coming on. Sal Jamar gave an interview in Spanish on a big YouTube channel. Oh my God. That's
I'm
just
gonna find that one.
definitely. Thank you for that. I did not know that, Amy. Thank you.
I'm gonna start creating content in Spanish.
Oh gosh, I would love to listen to that. I just love it.
I created a channel in Spanish,
Look,
like
Indigo
the
said I would
mirror.
love that.
Yeah. Right.
But I haven't been able to put the contents like record, and since I started with English, now I continued in English. But I want
Wait
to
a
do
minute.
that in
What is
Spanish
Tomas
too.
saying? What does that mean? Like
Boricua,
he means here, right? Don't that mean here?
Here,
yeah,
aquí
that's
means
from
here.
where he's.
What's
Yeah,
Barracuda?
What is that?
Boricua. It's Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay. But she
So
speaks so fast in Spanish, I'll need a translator. I think that comes with a language.
No, I do speak fast, very fast. No, I speak faster than most Mexicans. I needed to practice to slow down when I do presentations, and when I was doing my thesis, I had my family saying to slow down like this because I needed to have a half an hour
Indigo, yes.
presentation, and I was doing it 10 minutes long. So yeah, I speak Spanish fast.
Well,
Okay, so I'm gonna
I hate to leave.
We're
but
gonna
I
go,
need to
yes.
take the dogs out.
Oh, wait.
They run out.
Hey, Shannon, here you go. Sylvia Almeida is the channel. We're search.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna find it.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Amy. Okay, yeah, I've got people in there. The fight's about to swell. They're probably not going to fight till way later, but all the hoopla is fixing to start, so I'm going to go watch this fight. And oh yeah, it's a big deal here. Trust me, it's a big deal here.
The one with the YouTuber and Mike Tyson?
Yeah, he was in WWE. He's the one that owns the drink Prime. That is my favorite freaking hydration.
I'm gonna watch that fight too. So
it's about to be on Netflix. So yeah, let's just promo that. Maybe he'll give me some ads here since I always drink in Prime anyway. So.
Thank you. This was great.
Yes, then thank you all the mods. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Indigo. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And thank you too for coming on. And I'm going to ask Shannon before we go. Shannon,
Yes.
If you could tell any guy from your younger years, like it doesn't matter who it is, what is the most important thing they should learn about a woman? What would you tell them?
Wow, that's a very difficult question. But the most important thing is to just listen. I would just want a man to listen to me, listen to understand is the most important thing. Listen to understand is because communication is the number one thing for me. And so that would be most important.
I like that. Thank you. And Hamina? You will be ending our
She stole my answer.
Oh, no, I'm going to let you end our channel now. This will be this is going to be a nightly, every time we go live, Amina will be ending our respect women. I like that one. But no, I agree with you, Shannon, about that. That was great advice. Okay, go ahead, Amina.
Okay. So Shannon, I know you have to go take your dogs out. So do you want me to do an exercise of breathing or something like that?
Just something positive. That doesn't matter.
Something positive. So I think let's remind ourselves that we are all humans. That, like I said in my channel, healing is a journey, not a destination. So enjoy the ride, learn from your mistakes, be patient and kind with yourself, and tomorrow will be better than yesterday. So
I like that. Thank you.
I really like that. Thank you, Hamina. And everybody, we will be on here at 3:00 tomorrow. Am I right? Is it 3:00 tomorrow with Dodge Landisman will be on. So I hope you all will be here to see Dodge, and have a great night, y'all. We're going to go watch this fight.
thank you.